expect a dry day gets there. Sydney by 22 points at three-quarter time. The Swans 11-10-76, Gold Coast 8-6-54. In that term, Sydney 5-6, the Gold Coast Suns 5-2. And, well, they're not out of it, the Gold Coast Suns. You just get the feeling, couple on the run, and there'll be a chance. Our man Andrew Welsh has been very busy in his first outing on the boundary line, and he's being joined by Guy McKenna right now.
A late goal there to the Swans, but you must be happy with the guys, how they've competed, especially in the contested footy area.
Yeah, well, we know these conditions, mate. It's going to be tough, and playing the premiers, unfurling the flag, so we knew it was going to be tough. But look, the boys have competed really well. We just need to finish off this game and hopefully give ourselves a chance.
And Zach Smith in the ruck's been fantastic, and also Dixon with their ability to push forward's been great.
Yeah, Zach's ability to get his hand on the ball and Charlie's ability just to compete as a big fella. It's been handy, and who knows, mate, 25 minutes, we keep pressure on them and we might be a good chance.
All the best for last quarter.
Well, thanks to Bluey McKenna, and well done, Andrew Welsh.
See the little hip and shoulder there from Dean Solomon as he ran past, Welshie?
Yeah, well, once a tough defender, always a tough defender. And they're optimistic, the Gold Coast. That's terrific to hear from Bluey McKenna. Start of the final term, Sydney by 22 points. What can Gold Coast conjure here? More from Ablett, I guess, would really help spark them. He hasn't been terrible today, he never is. He's 20 possessions, second leading possession winner for the Gold Coast Suns, just behind O'Meara, but hasn't had the huge impact on the game that we've become accustomed to, certainly not like last week. Now, over the footy, Riscatelli. Bolton tried to get the ball moving forward. Mike Pike busy again. Hanbury, handball backwards. They played this pretty well. It's again with Hanbury. He got it from Kennedy. Long down towards full forward. Gold Coast free kick. Murphy being hung on to.
Not much doubt about that one. The double action by Luke Parker to sling Tom Murphy to the ground.
So Murphy's arm looks to be okay now too, doesn't it? He was in horrible pain earlier in the match, but he's recovered quite well. Maybe a jab. Mike Pike, that was a strong mark. Long one down towards full forward. Fisting away there was Thompson. Kennedy, McVeigh. He got through the tackle of Wilkinson. Centering kick, outstanding to Ryan O'Keefe. How good is that?
Just a couple of easy uncontested marks inside their forward 50 for the Swans. It's 9-4 in favour of the Swans' marks inside 50. They fight so hard, the Suns, but shouldn't really be allowed to bob up like he did here, Ryan O'Keefe.
He's had a big day, Ryan O'Keefe. Possession number 23. He's got a goal now and a 28-point lead for Sydney. Well, not what the Gold Coast Sun and possibly the impartial supporters were hoping for there. The first goal of the final term to the Sydney Swans, but they just willed the ball forward, didn't they? And all their experienced players involved. McVeigh, the finish to O'Keefe was terrific. Kennedy in there, and maybe John Longmire just a little happier with proceedings now.
Well, the best midfielders in the competition, Swan, Kennedy, they're strong through the hips, and McVeigh was then too, and a great set-up goal for O'Keefe to finish in that occasion.
O'Keefe with 23 disposals, 18 of them have been contested possessions, so that close to one of the easiest that he's had today. He's had to earn this one. Look at the mud. It's the old-fashioned SCG mud. Goods flies, nothing old-fashioned about that. Bolton to Jetta for two in a row for Sydney. Was offline and in the end off hands and over for a boundary throw-in. 24 disposals, 1 goal, 1 for Ryan O'Keefe. 16 of them kicks, and as we mentioned just a moment ago, a high percentage of contested possession. He's been wonderful today. I wonder if he's on his way to a third consecutive top Brownlow votes against the Suns. Now 50. What for, Tom?
Encroaching the mark, I think it was, Baz.
Well, we spoke about Jude Bolton's longevity, but how about Ryan O'Keefe? He's not only managed to stay on the park, but he actually almost improves with age. He's a terrific season last year, but again today we've just seen how important he is to their structure. Josh Kennedy probably hasn't had the influence he had last week, but Ryan O'Keefe steps up in his place and contributes with that contested possession count.
Grundy got his hands on the football momentarily. It was with Day, and now Carmichael Hunt, grabbed by McVeigh.
No genuine attempt.
It's not Hunt in there. I could see the 7, couldn't see the 1 with it. May a little bit unlucky. Out wide, here's O'Keefe again. Possession number 25, just keeps racking them up. Long one down the line. Wilkinson, big fly, double-fisted towards the boundary line.
It's only early in the season and the Suns had the great game against St Kilda, but this is a really important quarter for them. They've been able to go head-to-head with the reigning premiers and just can't afford for their development to be overawed and outpowered by the likes of O'Keefe, McVeigh, Kieran Jack, those sorts of players. Need to hang tough.
Quick kick out of the pack, goes Sydney's way, Parker, and now a flying shot. Well, it's out of bounds on the full McGlynn, but they do look dangerous. The start of this last term, Sydney by 28 points. John Longmire, golden slipper day. Apt, I guess, that the Swans are coached by a man whose nickname is Horse.
A couple of balls on the field at the moment.
Well, interesting to see if the umps will spot that. Hanbury from Reed, it came from Goods, now Nick Smith, outside 50, just a step outside, winds up, long one, Brennan right back on the line, Marks.
Coming, Marks here. Thank you. Right there. Stay on, Michael. Play on.
So away goes Jared Brennan, fresh legs. Gold Coast hoping that he can provide them with some drive. That's a great mark by Grundy, working back against Day. Handball to Malcheski.
Holding Luke Parker.
So Luke Parker's free kick.
Marks here. Arm
And
around.
it's just starting to unravel a little bit. Getting a bit untidy for the Gold Coast. Some free kicks. I guess tiring bodies, heavy conditions today. Not easy. And Parker on the runway for a 34-point lead. Parker nails it.
It was a real steal for the Sydney Swans when he was drafted, Luke Parker. He won best and fairest at every age group as a kid coming through, and was later in the draft a lot anticipated, and Craig touched on it during the call earlier, an absolute Jude Bolton clone. If you could pick a club that Luke Parker would end up playing for, you'd think it would be the Sydney Swans, and he's slotted in beautifully and has a premiership under his belt early days.
Huge impact on the game today, Luke Parker, and that's the beauty of this Swans midfield, whether it's Jude Bolton, Ryan O'Keefe, Josh Kennedy. They've got these big numbers who can pop up and they can all drift forward.
20 disposals now for Luke Parker and a couple of goals. He's been really prominent, and one of the reasons why the Sydney Swans find themselves with a 34-point lead. The ball inside 50 very quickly again. Parker out to Jack. Hanbury wanted it, didn't get there. Jetta swings it around the body. Adam Goods, the little nudge.
Gold Coast.
Umpire saw it.
And speaking of that midfield depth, Craig, that's 7 Swans players now with over 20 disposals. It hasn't really been a standout. I think we've all all been impressed with Ryan O'Keefe's work rate, and Jared McVeigh had a fantastic second quarter, but a really even performance from the Swans midfield.
O'Meara's been terrific as well. This is his 22nd touch for the afternoon. And incidentally, disposals in this final term, just to give you an indication of how dominant Sydney have been, 35-8. Riscatelli, though, grabs the football, and Zach Smith is away. Look at the big mummy chasing him. Cannot chase him. Zach Smith keeps going. This deserves a goal, and it gets a goal. Well done, big man.
Bit of the Harry Maddens about that one, Baz.
He made no ground at all. It was an admirable chase from Mumford, but no ground being made up whatsoever. And I'm not sure that he's going to enjoy looking back at that.
We'll have a good look, I'm sure, after the break.
Oh, there's plenty of places that could end up.
Well, despite the conditions, we've seen the athleticism of Zach Smith on display today. And, yes, you see Shane Mumford there. I don't think he was enjoying that so much as we were up here.
All you can do is sledge in that time, can't you? He's just tearing away from you. Great athleticism from Zach Smith.
Yeah, well done by the big man, as we said. Zach Smith, he bounced it like a basketball almost, didn't he? Just almost right on top of it rather than out in front. And I guess good tactics from the young man. It bounced back up to him. 3 bounces, a goal.
They played a lot of soccer as a kid, Zach Smith, but that's 5 running bounces for the day.
That's a good effort. He hasn't been the worst of them, that's for sure, for the Gold Coast Suns. In fact, it's been a pretty even team performance from them. They've certainly tried hard. They've slugged it out. Mira, Prestia and Swallow, 3 of their young guns, they're leading possession winners. So great sign that they're not too far away. And on this performance, Craig, you'd suggest they're going to beat a few this year.
Absolutely. Oh, obviously a great win last week, but today they haven't had their colours low. There's still a chance.
Goods gives McGlynn a chance. That's an intelligent centering kick. A ruckman with the goal at the other end, and we might have another ruckman kick a goal at Sydney's end. Mike Pike marks dead in front.
Well, we saw Peter Everett do it earlier on, and that's why they're so consistent, this Swan side. They know their structures and they stick to it. Ben McGlynn gets the ball on the boundary line. He's always going to centre that ball, and Mike Pike knows that. He's in the right position for that, to take that mark.
Well, he kicked just 8 goals, 8 last season. He kicked 2 last week, and this for his second here. So already he's got 4 goals for 2013. Well done, Mike Pike. A bit of old-fashioned footy. Not quite the resting ruckman in Zach Smith's case, but the resting ruckman, certainly in Mike Pike's case, marking and kicking a goal. Still life left in the big men yet, even on a wet day. Sydney by 34 points.
Kicked 2 last week, Mike Pike, and another 2 goals to add to that today. He's really developing, and along with Shane Mumford, he gives them a really good look up forward, and really hard for opposing teams to match up on those guys when they go forward.
10 minutes into this final term, and that was Gary Ablett's first possession of the last quarter. He got it from Brennan. It ends up with Murphy, and that's a free kick. Day's way. Roberts-Thompson with a push-out.
Soldiered on all day, Sammy Day. As we've said a couple of times, shows sign that he's got a really bright future, and just getting to the right positions, putting himself in the right position to mark the ball, got the free kick. Be great for his confidence to go back and kick this.
He's kicked 1 already today, 1 last week against St Kilda. The kick is drifting across the face and just behind, back to 33 points.
Well, it's a bit of a question without notice. We've seen and spoke to the praises of Mike Pike and his development. Hard to see him missing out when Kurt Tippett comes back in.
Well, someone's going to have to, and that's going to be the balancing act, I think, where he fits in. And we spoke to Kurt. He said he wants to play in the ruck and up forward. You've got Sam Reid, Adam Goods, Lewis Roberts-Thompson. They are a bit top-heavy when it gets to that stage. On his form currently, 2 games in, you'd be hard-pressed to see how Mike Pike can miss out on these top 22.
Yep.
Wait there, thanks.
So Dixon then with a free kick. He goes down towards Ablett. Jack had him, seemed to fall over him. Well, we're told that really is a free kick this year, and Gary Ablett, the shake of the head, the look back at the umpire. He would have been around the zone a few times when that happened, Tom, down at Skill.
He was always right, Gazza. An amazing knack of getting himself in the right position. It's been a really great head-to-head matchup. You don't see them very often these days when it's 2 genuine guns. So Kieran Jack's a best and fairest winner at the Swans and a captain, and Gary Ablett a captain and best and fairest winner at his club. But that is a free kick, and rightfully aggrieved there, Gazza.
Yeah, that's what we've been told, and certainly
Wait there, thanks, Rory.
the umpire's explanation post-season was that should have been a free kick. McGlynn has marked. He goes towards the wing. Reid, the fly. Saw him take a beauty last week. Couldn't hold on that time. Matera with the ball very close to the line. Swings it back towards the 50. Ablett pushed off the football. Jack got it up to Nick Smith. And now Grundy, Malcheski, Back to Smith it went and ends up with Jack, who kicks towards the wing again. Warnock, a big fist in there, did that well. Got a fair bit of territory with it, but it's coming back again. McGlynn. Here's kick to the middle of the ground and the mark taken by Adam Goods. Quickly onto Parker, and now it's the run of Everett. It sits, he takes it, he kicks the goal. Great finish, Sydney. Great team goal. They're running away with it now, the reigning premiers. Or is it? Well,
Score review, please. We believe it's a goal, but we want to check that if it's hit the post.
certainly ruins the commentary, Tom. There's no coming back from that.
Do you reckon that was thought about, the impact on commentators, the video, for you, Benner?
Well, hopefully it's a goal and it won't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've called it a goal to Andreas Everett, but we're in the middle of a goal review here. The umpire's just wanting to check that it didn't hit the post. And already the field umpire has indicated.
Vision inconclusive, umpire's call.
So the umpire's call stands. The goal it is, and the highlights reel unaffected, Tom.
That's the important part.
That was a good finish by Everett, and he's been a pretty handy contributor today. Came into the side, one of two changes. And Andreas Everett, 17 disposals, and that's his second goal now. And, well, Everett part of that tall timber, and Shaw sitting down. Let's go down to Andrew Welsh, and the red vest is on.
Yeah, Bird has come into the game. He's been warming up. Shaw has come off as the sub, and I'm sure they're going to look for Bird to continue that competitive spirit that his leaders in Jack and McVeigh have shown so far throughout this game.
39 points is Sydney's lead. Now the sun comes out, and the biggest lead of the afternoon for the reigning premiers. Here's Hall, pushed off the football. Bird. Well done by Mattner. He got around the oncoming traffic. He sends the ball towards the wing. Parker, he's been a tireless worker. Riscatelli too. And the ball over the line for a throw-in.
Going to be a very important player this year, Marty Mattner, for the Swans in the absence of Alex Johnson. Probably a little bit underrated externally, but within the Sydney Swans club, they rate Alex Johnson so highly because of his ability to play on smalls and talls alike. So you'd think Marty Mattner's a likely player to step in and fill that breach this year.
O'Keefe, gee, that's old-fashioned, isn't it? With all the mud covering the number. Looking for disposal 25. He's penalised instead.
Holding the ball. Thanks, mate.
Bit of a shake of the head. He wasn't too happy with it either, I guess. Never are. 25 disposals, 1 goal, 1. It's been a very good afternoon from the veteran. Roberts, Thompson, Day, good tackle. Charlie Dixon, good reach. Wonderful athleticism from the big man. We've seen it on display today. Good kick forward by Ablett. Might this be a goal? Matera seemed to wait for it. It sat. He kicks off the ground, and they get it back to a 33-point margin.
He was trying to do the right thing there by his elder statesman in Gary Ablett, but at some point he had to make the call to kick it. Matera did and finished off well, but you know, the little master there getting a great little touch out of a contested situation in that stoppage and kicking it forward. We haven't seen a lot of that today. Obviously the conditions haven't helped or assisted in his ability to be able to make influential plays around the stoppages, but that was a great one in that situation.
Repeat efforts again. Charlie Dixon was involved. Gary Ablett driving it forward. Matera. There's a lot of talented young players in this Gold Coast side. We've seen some real glimpses, but the likes of O'Keefe just really starting to wear them down.
Disposal 26 for Ryan O'Keefe. He's had a wonderful afternoon, and it could be yet another 3-vote effort. Swallow was in there, Ablett as well. Over the top eventually. It came Bird's way from Harbrow. Long kick now inside 50. Adam Goods, Warnock at the back. Shaw. Got a handball back inside. That was dangerous to Murphy. It comes to McGlynn, who sends it around the body. It's just offline and a behind. 15-11 Sydney, 101. The Gold Coast 10-7, 67. Swans by 34 points. It's been a gutsy effort, by the Suns. O'Keefe got his kick away, and a little bit of icing on the cake for Ryan O'Keefe. There's his second.
Well, that's testament to the strength of Ryan O'Keefe, because he was actually getting tackled in the process of kicking that footy, and he is one of the strongest players going around, still able to maintain composure and the ability to strike that ball well and kick truly from 45 metres. But been a huge presence today throughout the midfield. Solid in the contested possession stakes, leading the ground, in fact, in that area, and a great finish there.
Complete game from Ryan O'Keefe today. 27 disposals, 21 of those contested, 10 clearances, 2 goals. Without a doubt, Baz, best on ground.
We put him down for the 3.
Yep.
So for the 3rd consecutive time, he's going to get 3 votes. Well, we are preempting it by quite a few weeks. But we reckon he's on target for 3 in a row, and that is a wonderful effort. Ball inside 50. Well done by Warnock. Now the football is in Brennan's hands. He got it from Wilkinson. That typical dash, all arms and legs. It's a bouncing ball. Caught behind Bennell. It was well done. Hanbury back to Jack. And now the little chip kick up the line for Kennedy. I'll slow it down a little bit, the Swans. Hanbury goes long down towards full forward. McVeigh, the slips catch. The wicket keeper across to second slip. Oh, what a catch.
At the cricket ground, it's always good to see a slips catch there. We've spoken about it, just the old, mature, cool heads of the Swans really starting to get on top, and McVeigh had that burst in the second quarter. This will seal a pretty handy day for him.
So McVeigh kicking for his 4th goal of the afternoon. His career best is 6 back in 2008. He's got his 4th. Oh, that was a beauty, wasn't it? Just diving across. And the experienced campaigners, they've been fantastic today. O'Keefe, 27 and 2 goals. Kennedy, 26 and a goal. Kieran Jack, 25 touches and a goal. And Luke Parker with 23 and 2 goals. And McVeigh to round that list out, 23 touches, 4 goals. A great performance.
Absolute domination by the Sydney Swans in this last quarter. That's a fantastic catch, really sharp in the slips, as Baz called. 75 disposals, the Swans, to only 36 for the Gold Coast in this last quarter.
Well, 4 goals now for McVeigh, Tom, and 23 disposals. I've put those 3 votes in.
You did say it was a lock, Tom. It was a guarantee, I believe.
Yep, I'm still running with that. I think Ryan O'Keefe's been the best player on the ground.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing. Just we'll get phone calls on Brownlow night. You know that, don't you? People don't forget. Good mark by Thompson.
Well, Bolts, don't sit on the fence. Who is best on ground?
I'll reserve my judgment, Tom. Much too smart to make a call this far out.
Okay, well, that's clever. Still 7 minutes to go. Is that what you mean?
He could finish with 8.
Another goal. Another goal from McVeigh will make it interesting.
3 after disposal, advantage.
So Parker takes that advantage.
No advantage from out of zone.
Well,
Sydney free here.
I'm
Lewis,
not sure how that works. If he takes the advantage,
play on, Lewis.
and the umpire calls him back because there was no advantage, he said. Not sure about that one. Jeddah. Here's Kennedy. Taken by Matera, just waiting at his feet. He sends a long ball down towards our forward. May, a terrific effort. Not quite. Player down for the Swans. Well done, O'Meara. Now Russell. He was tackled as he kicked towards full forward. Ted Richards. Game number 150 for the Sydney Swans. Good effort in front of the big ruckman, Zach Smith.
The depth of this Swans midfield is obviously one of their key strengths, but you have a look at their top 7 possession getters, all genuine midfielders. You have a look at Gold Coast top 7 possession getters, only 3 of them are genuine midfielders.
Sydney 17-11, Gold Coast 10-7.
Gold Coast.
Just that even spread, that contribution that the Swans players get, whether it's Hanbury, McVeigh, Parker, Jack, they keep coming up and they just keep consistently getting these footies and manage to keep pushing the ball forward.
So free kick for high contact. It's going May's way. Stephen May in his 19th game with the Gold Coast Suns. He's kicked 5 goals only for his career. And this for his first of the afternoon. May kicks from virtually dead in front. And he gets the margin back to 40 points. So Sydney 17-11, 113. Gold Coast 11-7, 73. A crowd of 20,372 here this afternoon. And they saw the Sydney Swans unfurl their 2012 Premiership flag. And it hasn't been easy for Sydney to start their title defence, but they will be 2-0 at the end of round 2. Dixon went against Mumford that time. That's a great mark by Bolton. McVeigh's kick forward and a wonderful effort to bring that in. Bolton goes long down in the O'Keefe direction. Maybe wants a goal himself just to make sure of the 3 votes. Didn't get the mark, and Swallow's taken a good one inside the centre square.
He's been good, Swallow. We've spoken a lot about O'Meara and obviously Gary Ablett, but ability to win the hard ball, that's, 17 contested possessions out of his 20.
Shaw now with a bouncing ball inside 50. Here's Hall. It's been lively today. Kicked a couple of goals. Pulled as he kicked. McVeigh working at both ends of the ground. Hanbury in trouble. Hall got him. So did May. Handball, though, went to Parker. Backing back was Grundy. His kick to the wing. Warnock, well done. Good courage. McGlynn was coming. Stood his ground and marked. Sends it inside 50. Roberts Thompson over the top. Ted Richards. Handball for Matner. Looks upfield. Not a lot to kick to. Everett flies. Might have been hung on to.
Andreas Everett. He had no on his shoulder when he spoiled.
Now Reid probably could have kept going there. He chose not to. The ball comes back to Everett.
Hang on, you went around.
Now called to play on. Towards the 50. O'Keefe flies. He wants to make sure. He wants to validate it. Consolidate those 3. Pushed forward, O'Keefe. Oh, he might be holding the ball. This wouldn't be good, fresh in the umpire's mind.
Oh, he dived on the ball, Jarrett Brennan. No, he dived on it. He dived on the ball.
Holding the ball.
Didn't give him a mouthful though, Baz, so...
Oh, geez, he's a competitor, Ryan O'Keefe. Easily the most competitive player I've ever played with, and you can see he's had a stellar game. The game's in the bag. Gets a free kick against him, and he's still filthy about it and furious looking for that next kick.
Grundy to Pike, across to Kennedy, and now Jack through the middle of the ground. A long kick down towards half forward. Was read well by Warnock. Reid was the target. It just had a little bit too much on it. Murphy appears okay. And now 50.
Just cribbed over the mark there, Jude Bolton. And Craig, you hear industry talk that Ryan O'Keefe's just a coach in waiting?
Absolutely. Passionate about the game. Very smart tactically, and enjoys spending as much time with the coaches as he does players, because I think he's trying to pick their brain, and certainly fancies himself and would like to pursue a career in that, I think, when he finally does hang out the boots. But given his form, that may not be any time soon, I wouldn't have thought.
Ball with Shaw here for the Gold Coast Suns. Outside 50, a long one down towards full forward. McVeigh, well done, across to Bird. Roving that pack. Mike Pike flies. Couldn't bring it down. Shaw did well. Reid, though, stole the football. Kennedy, Jack, through the middle around Prestia. He had to go sideways. Ball out in space. Hanbury can run onto it. Riscatelli chasing from 55. Sends it back towards the goals. It's just offline.
Just a kick for touch there. Very rugby league, like Kieran Jack. Just saw the angle Dan Hanbury was pushing in. Just put it out in space. Very clever.
So Hall, not his best effort this afternoon. He's kicked that out of bounds on the full.
Thank you.
He was very busy early, Hall, wasn't he? 14 touches, 2 goals, 1, all of them in the first half. He's been one of a number of the younger Gold Coast Suns players to fade just a little. Jetta to Bird. Just over 2.5 minutes to play. Down towards full forward Bolton, off his hands, close to the line. Hall didn't really want to grab it.
Yeah, it's the slide of the knees there. That's the new rule.
No, he slid in contact with the knees. Just come back, just play on now.
And Paul's done it again.
You don't want to do that in front of the cheer squad, do you?
No, it's not the best place to make
No, that's a throw. It has to enter the field of play.
an absolute clanger. His finishing was spot on earlier in the game.
So actually, I think he's going to get this kick again, because the umpire's saying, or rather a boundary throw-in, because the umpire's saying it didn't enter the field of play. He was outside over the boundary line when he kicked it. Sorry to chop you off there, Craig. And so as a result, a boundary throw-in, not out of bounds on the full. That'd make him feel a little bit better, Tom.
O'Meara.
Possession number 25 for Jager O'Meara. He is going to be a superstar. I don't think there's too much doubt about that. Bennell runs away from the pack. Nick Smith, Ablett, was he carried forward? Did he hold the ball? No whistle from the umpire. Back to Roberts Thompson. He got it from Smith. And now the kick forward, Mike Pike. Hasn't been Gaz's day.
No, Kieran Jack's done an outstanding job on Gary Ablett. I mean, certainly hasn't been terrible, Gaz, but Kieran Jack with the colours there.
McVeigh with possession 27 up towards Reid. Riscatelli, Adam Goods in the area, Kennedy as well. Carmichael Hunt did nicely, got it to Hall, looking for a kick that stays inside the field of play this time. It wobbles towards the boundary line, but it is still in. Well done, Ablett. Ran into Smith, so turns back inside, and now Bennell in trouble as a result of the Ablett handball. Nick Smith keeps going. They've done it nicely, the Swans. Melcheski. Here's Jack. A little bit of a premiership party now at the SCG. Down towards Everett. Well done, Warnock. Hit that contest hard. Trying to get the ball towards the line. Harbrow's handball. It took the right bounce over the line. Can't be penalised for that one. And throw in it will be.
You got a feel for Gary Ablett. Has Kieran Jack for most of the game, goes forward for a bit of a rest or some respite, and runs straight into Nick Smith, who's been wearing him like a glove. So tough conditions, but he's been pretty well held today by those two.
Quick kick out of the pack by Prestia. We've got a whistle.
Gold Coast, Stephen May. Early push.
He's given a few of those away today. LRT just engaging in contact before the ball's actually dropped.
So May's kick to Ablett, bobbled around, but he held on to it. 24 disposals for Gary Ablett, so certainly not a terrible performance, and we mark him very hard, don't we? I'm sure he marks himself hard, but 24 disposals, and you feel as though he's hardly contributed, but only one off O'Meara's 25 disposals for the Suns. Dying seconds then, and Sydney were the premiers 6 months ago. Hasn't been overly convincing to start 2013, but they make it 2 in a row. A win over GWS in round 1, and they back it up with victory over Gold Coast in round 2. Sydney by 41 points.
Pretty solid performance there by the Swans in the end. Suns were really impressive early. I think we were all impressed with their endeavour. O'Meara, Prestia, Swallow, these sorts of players, Dixon, but the real class of the Swans came out. Toss of the coin, Baz, for best on ground, McVeigh and O'Keefe.
Well, 4 goals, 1 for Jared McVeigh, 2 goals, 1 for Ryan O'Keefe, and both with 27 disposals, but Craig Bolton, they were both excellent today.
They were both influential. When the game needed to be won in the second quarter, they stood up. McVeigh in particular for mine, he was the one who came to the fore, kicked 2 defining games at the end of the second quarter, and was just quality.
So final scores here at the SCG: Sydney 17-12, 114, Gold Coast 11-7, 73.
This has been a Fox Footy presentation.